This is Taking Stock, the Fed in Focus on Bloomberg Radio.
The Fed in Focus, the availability of credit. Let's find out more when credit is applied to the real estate industry. Richard Grossman is the president of Halstead Property, and he joins us now. Richard, thank you very much for coming in. And by the way, congratulations, because I believe this year you were made president of Halstead.
Yes, thank you very much. In fact, I became president this past spring.
All right. So congratulations, just in time perhaps for what, maybe a softening of the real estate market? Or tell us the state of the market, and then we'll talk about financing.
Sure. I mean, the state of the market is in New York. First of all, there are a lot of different markets going on at the same time. The market, say, above $10 million, we're looking at one sort of market where there's probably too much inventory in that area right now. And there's the market that I would say below 3 to 5 million and below, where you really see that's maybe the everyday person's market. There is still a shortage of what is available, and properly priced things are selling.
Sorry, Kathleen, I just want to add, only, and you would actually, I think, maybe come in on this, but average for 3 million to 5 million. I mean, the rest of the country doesn't think it's an amazing statistic, isn't it?
Correct. It is an amazing thing in New York City to see prices at that level.
Of course, it also depends on a lot still, doesn't it, on where in New York City you want to buy, because Manhattan is one market versus Riverdale versus Queens, and even take Queens. Correct. Many different parts.
Correct. And in Manhattan, even there's many different markets within the same size. There's Billionaires Row. That's one market. There's the Upper East Side, Upper West Side, the Village, Murray Hill, and different places. And there are emerging markets. Queens and the Bronx, quite frankly, are markets that we're seeing still upside potential in those marketplaces.
So are developers starting to say, we've kind of saturated the top, and it's nice to sell those super luxury expensive ones? Are they starting to say, there's still so much demand where I can make money if I'm building more units that the more people can afford?
Sure. In certain marketplaces, they're certainly doing that, and that's why you're seeing places like Queens and Brooklyn, so much construction activity there. In Manhattan, the construction activity in 2016 has certainly slowed down. We went from last year about 15,000 new building permits were issued. That includes condominiums and rental housing. This year, that's down to 650. So the top of the market, there's probably about 1,000 units coming in at prices at $10 million and above, and we absorb that at about 50 units, plus or minus 50 to 75 units per year.
Tell us about the mortgage market. Is it easy to get a mortgage?
It's more difficult to get a mortgage today than it was, let's say, 8 years ago before pre-Lehman. They're still going to be looking at good credit scores. They're still going to be looking at a larger down payment than they did in the past, and they're going to put it's not
like how much? How much would you have to put down typically?
In New York City, you're probably looking to put down a minimum of 10% and not atypically 20 to 25%, because most of our housing is cooperative, and most of the buyers who are buying in New York City, even at these price points, are putting large down payments down.
So is it a case where, we know the Federal Reserve is getting ready to hike the key rate, and they may just hike it once this year, and who knows if they're going to, one or two next year. It isn't much, but it could help move mortgage rates up if 10-year the bond market sells off and the yields on, that's how the mortgage is really priced.
Correct.
They don't price on the short end. But I guess my question is more along the lines of, does it make that much difference to buyers right now? If I have a job, if I can afford the down payment, does it make much difference how much that mortgage costs me?
I don't think it's going to make a difference in absolute dollars. I think that buyers, if interest rates go up, 2 or 3%, I think you're going to start seeing some effect in the marketplace. But if you get a half a point, a point and a half rise in the interest rates, I think people are expecting that. And B, that at these price points and with the amount they're putting down, they can afford this.
Now, just not to keep it so New York centric all the time, sure. Where are buyers coming from? Where do you see the most activity and the healthy participation of potential owners?
Well, New York City is an international city, so we see buyers coming from all over the world. That's still true today, as we've seen it in the past. That said, our market for a local market is a very healthy market. Chances are the person who's going to be buying your apartment, your home, is going to be a New York-based person buying for their own use as a primary residence.
So, what would have to happen for, and I'm thinking of potential buyers out there who just wish prices would cool off a bit. What would have to happen to really knock prices back down significantly in New York City?
I think you'd have to see a recession, and I don't think a recession is on the offing in New York City in the next few years.
Why?
I think the unemployment is good, interest rates are low, and we're not building enough housing to saturate the demand for middle class housing in New York City. And I'm talking middle class housing, 3 to 5 million and below.
Housing as an investment, worthwhile right now?
As your primary residence, I think it's absolutely a great investment to have. As a speculative investment, it could be, but you have to have the risk to take that. And there may be some ups and downs along the way.
If I want a great buy, where do I look right now in this area?
I would look in a few places. I would look in Queens. I would look in the Bronx. I would certainly still look in parts of Brooklyn. And if you're looking outside of New York City itself, I would certainly say, going to some of the suburbs, Westchester, Fairfield County, and the northern suburbs of New Jersey are phenomenal opportunities right now.
Oh boy, maybe I'll just take Richard Grossman of Halstead Property
Absolutely.
along with me on the hunt. President of Halstead Property as of spring 2016. Richard, thanks for joining us in studio today.
Thank you for having me.
Much appreciated.